Say those words out loud. Say the words that you just put in that message out loud. Quit being a pussy and ducking the fights everybody wants to see. You're pathetic and everybody knows it. You're an absolute joke. You beat your wife. You've gotten 100 DUIs and everybody just wants you to disappear. So hurry up and disappear. Okay, so you just said those words. Now imagine saying that exact same thing to any tough guy that you've ever seen. What would you expect them to do? I've never really thought about it like that. Well, start thinking about it like that. All right, so I got a story about Jon Jones. Actually, I got a few stories about Jon Jones, and each subsequent story is just going to keep escalating because we're going to start with Jon Jones being cocky in a DM to a fan that leaked. Then we're going to see like Daniel Cormier talking about some things Jon Jones said. And by the end, we've got him putting a fan in the hospital and then threatening to find and kill another fan. So it just starts kind of like regular back and forth banter. And like I said, we end with him threatening to find a person in real life and put him down. And he puts a fan in the hospital. And in case you guys are under the impression this is going to be some trick and he put a fan in the hospital because he was like lifting him up out of like a, like a car crash or something. No, he kicked him. He kicked the fan and put him in the hospital. So that is going to be on video, and you'll be able to review the video as well. You got Diddy on video. You got Jon Jones on video, hospitalizing these unworthy adversaries. This is not quite as bad as what Diddy did. But by the way, wow, I have a huge story on Diddy coming this week. I don't know if I'll do it Monday or Tuesday, but my goodness gracious, dude. A new recording of behavior about on par with him beating up Cassie, but it's also other people in his family. It's a blockbuster. I can't wait to do it. So look for that. All right, let's jump into this thing, and we will go through each story one by one.
Into it with a fan via XDMs. The fan posted a video of his DMs. It starts with Jon saying, okay, what if I'm filthy rich and literally own not one but two small mansions in the same town? What does that make me? Just curious. The fan replied, all that money, and you're still this much of an insecure coward. Just go fight Stipe, then retire so we can forget about you already. Then he sent a gif of Tom Aspinall.
Okay, hang on. So I'm just going to stop it right there. And like, I realize that the theme of this video is kind of like, why is Jon doing this? And I'll talk much more extensively about that later in the video. But I just want to point out how ludicrous it is for people to DM a person like Jon Jones a thing like this. Not because it puts them in danger, not because, it's not like, oh, Jon Jones will beat you up, right? There's a lot more for you to gain and him to lose if he actually attacks you. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of money, just like he said. He's all, what if I'm filthy rich? He's all, I'm about to get another 15 million. And you're like, oh yeah, he's all, and I'm going to beat you up. You're like, please do. I would love it if you beat me up. How much money did you say you have? I could use some of that. Anyway, but the thing that I find absolutely ludicrous about this DM is just fight Stipe. You're a coward. You're a coward, an insecure coward. So just fight Stipe and be done with it, And you're like, wait, hey, tell me about your life, dude. You know what I mean? Like, just go ahead and tell me about your life. I'm not saying Jon should be responding to these guys. I'm not saying that he should be doing whatever. But if you don't find yourself asking, if you're that guy and you don't think to yourself, am I like telling him to do something that I never in a million years would or could do at a 1/100th scale? It's like, wait, no, why don't you go take an amateur cage fight, dude? It's like, what? Just go do an amateur cage fight. Like, just do it, like train a little bit, make weight, and then go fight another man in the cage. I don't want to do that. You're like, yeah, no shit. Because anybody who's ever fought a person in the cage or in any kind of combat sport would never write a thing like that to a guy like Jon Jones, literally the most successful combat sports athlete ever. And you're like, just get it. Just go, dude. You're ducking Tom Aspinall, you little pussy. And you're like, dude, it's like Josh Fabia telling Brock Lesnar that he's little. He's all, look at you, little man. Look at you, little man. Brock's all, do you want me to pick you up like you are a little Gumby doll? And then just go, and you know what? You see this right here? This is me holding you in my fingers, and I'm going to squish you if you don't subscribe to this channel and like this video. I'm just kidding you guys. I'm not going to squish you in between my fingers, but I would love it if you did subscribe to the channel and like the video. You know what I mean? Can you imagine fucking Brock Lesnar versus Fabio? That would be a really fun fight to watch. Anyway, let's continue.
Jon replied, I've already agreed to make $15 million my next fight. Hell yeah, bro. I'm about to beat up this old man and ride off into the sunset. Hope you enjoy watching, Will. The fan replied,
listen, that's a good, I mean, that is a good fuck you. Because he's like not mad. He's just all, oh, you know what? Like, man, I guess if we're comparing, he shouldn't be doing it anyway, for the record. There's no reason Jon should be like responding to these ass clowns. Because guess what? The second that he responds, they already win. All right, so let's listen to what this guy says back to Jon Jones. Goes, all right, well, I'm going to make $15 million to fight Stipe, and then I'm just going to retire, but have fun watching.
Fun fact, in your 16 UFC title fights, 13 of your opponents were older than you, yet you still want to mangle poor old Stipe to add some stuffing to your quote-unquote legacy. Genuinely, what would you have done if Shogun decided he wanted to rematch Chuck Liddell instead of fighting you? That's basically what you're doing to Tom. Make your business decision all you want, but you don't really have the right to get butthurt when people call you out on it.
Okay, so, again, if you think this is going to be a video of me just defending Jon across the board, we got a lot of video left, okay? We got a lot of video left. But on this particular section, I just have to point out that this guy has no idea. First of all, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, okay? Because it's like, again, the Jon Jones and Stipe fight was made before Tom Aspinall won the title, okay? Now, in my opinion, just my humble opinion as a, I don't know, whatever the fuck you think I am, idiot. I think you're an idiot. I'm like, all right, well, as an idiot, they're all, and I think you suck donkey penis. I'm like, all right, well, as a person who sucks donkey penis, let me tell you what my opinion is here. I think Tom Aspinall has probably a better claim on who the real heavyweight champion is, because Jon Jones did not beat the champion of the UFC heavyweight division. Okay. He beat Cyril Gane. Okay. Cyril Gane was not the champion. Okay, they just put the belt up and they're like, who do we want to be champion? Jon Jones. What is a favorable matchup for Jon Jones? It's this guy, Cyril. Great stand-up, no grappling. Okay, here you go. Go get it, Jon. And Jon did exactly that. Then you have Tom Aspinall, who fought a 10 times scarier opponent for the interim belt, which is Sergey, and he knocked him out in the first round. So if you're asking me like who I would consider to be the more kind of qualified real champion, it's Tom Aspinall. But nonetheless, Jon Jones won the belt first, so it's like he's like technically the champion, right? The reason they're not stripping Tom Aspinall of the interim belt is because they know that also. But the Stipe fight, okay? The Stipe fight, he's literally telling you in plain English right here. He's like, I'm going to win this fight and ride off into the sunset. Okay, so what happens at that point? Tom Aspinall's the champion, dude. Okay, you want Tom Aspinall to be the champion? Guess what? He's gonna be champion. If he wins this fight against Curtis Blades, he's champion. Because Jon Jones is just gonna leave, right? Okay, so don't worry about it. And when it comes to the Stipe fight, they agreed to this fight prior to Jon Jones getting injured and prior to Tom Aspinall winning the interim belt. They're just following through with the bout agreement that they had already made, okay? If he did not fight Stipe, do you understand how fucked up that would be? Stipe turned down every other opponent that the UFC offered to him. I know this for a 100% fact. This is not like I looked online and read shit. I know this. I know his team. 100%. He was offered other fights. They were like, we don't want him. We want Jon Jones. Stipe's not interested in just like money fights anymore. He wants legacy fights. That's why he wants Jon. It's the only one he wanted, and he actually only wanted Francis prior to that. He wanted to fight Francis more than he wanted to fight Jon Jones, which is just bananas. But so again, this whole position that this guy is taking is dumb, okay? It's dumb. I know you want to see him fight Tom Aspinall, so do I. But it's a business agreement that was already there, and he'd be completely fucked up to... for Stipe to wait for him while he goes through his injury rehab, and then he's all, fuck it. I'd rather fight Tom Aspinall. Not to mention he's going to make $15 million, okay? This bout agreement is for the Stipe fight. Okay, you think that just means he's going to make $15 million if he fights Tom Aspinall? That's not how that works. Do you want to take, I'll pay you, put it on your terms, I'll pay you $30 an hour to remodel my bathroom, all right? And you have let's say 2 weeks to complete the job, or I could pay you $15 an hour and give you 1 week to finish the job, which sounds like a better deal, okay? This is real life. He's taking a fight that's less risk for much more money. You would do something different. Yeah, fucking right. All right, now we move over to where Jon Jones had made some statements about the validity of Tom Aspinall's championship belt, as well as DC's when DC was the champion. I assume only at light heavyweight based on what Jon Jones is saying. And in my opinion, so DC is going to respond to him, and he actually kind of agrees with Jon. I actually don't. I agree with him when it comes to DC light heavyweight. Do not agree with him when it comes to Tom Aspinall, but let's listen to what he said. Listen to what DC says, and then I will respond to both. And then we'll get into the more juicy stuff, like Jon, folding a fan in half and then him threatening to kill another one. Let's rock and roll.
Recently, Jon compared DC's title run to Tom Aspinall's, insinuating that DC was never the real champion because he was absent. Here was DC's response on his YouTube channel.
It confuses people. That's not a real indication of what was going on. Look, guys, right now, Jon is out due to injury, right? He's out due to injury, so Tom Aspinall is now the champion. I get that. But that's not what was going on when him and I were fighting. So he misrepresented what the situation was. When you are, and plus, like, Tom Aspinall is not the champion because of his absence so much. Tom Aspinall is the champion because he was available, won the belt when Jon got hurt. Well, actually, you know what?
Tom is the champion for the same reason Jon Jones is the champion. Because Francis left the organization, so Jon got the championship for beating a not best guy in the heavyweight division. And then when Jon got super injured, Tom Aspinall came in and fought the scariest guy in the division, and he put him out in a round. So, I mean, at best, at absolute best, Jon Jones's claim on the true heavyweight title is even with Tom Aspinall's. It's not higher by any stretch of the imagination. If you want to be the champ, you need to beat Francis. Francis leaves, you're throwing the belt up in the air, and, it kind of lands where the UFC wants it to land, assuming that Jon Jones can beat a person like Cyril Gane. And Tom Aspinall versus Pavlovich was a toss-up fight, and Tom made quick work of him on 2 weeks' notice, dude. Anyway, but in Jon Jones and DC's case, that's super legit. Why is it different? Simple. Because Jon Jones beat DC. I mean, even if you want to throw the juice pop one off on the second, where it's like, dude, he was on juice the second one. All right, well, he beat him in the first one too. So like that is a legit claim that DC's championship is, everybody knows that the light heavyweight championship that he held was tainted by the fact that he, objectively, Jon Jones was a better fighter than him. He was the only one that was a better fighter than him at the time of his light heavyweight run. However, no one could take that heavyweight title away from Cormier. No one. No one can say a single thing about when he won the heavyweight championship, because Stipe was as dominant as anybody had been up to that point in the heavyweight division, and DC starched him. And he didn't starch him like by some kind of freak luck. He had said specifically in interviews over and over and over, talking about Stipe, where he's like, man, you better keep those hands up on the brakes, Stipe. He wouldn't have said that if he didn't think, had he thought he was going to be fighting him. But, Stipe didn't listen anyway. He said, you better keep those hands up on the brakes, Stipe, because Stipe would break, out of the clinch and he would have his hands down. DC knew for sure that was going to be available, and he took advantage, clipped him right on the chin and knocked him straight cold. DC heavyweight championship, absolutely unquestionable. And here's the other thing. You guys want to know why Jon Jones, another reason that he really wants this fight, okay, the Stipe one? Maybe not the main. One of the main reasons that he wants this Stipe fight is Jon Jones wants to take away the one thing that Daniel Cormier still has on him. Because Jon Jones said he didn't want to move up to heavyweight. He thought Stipe was too scary, whatever. He actually said those things. I don't know, man. He's pretty big. And he stayed at light heavyweight. DC went up to heavyweight, and he starched Stipe in a completely legit knockout. And that's the one thing that DC can still hold on to as the thing that he did better than Jon Jones. So Jon Jones would love to go fight Stipe and starch him and then go, now what you got, DC? He's a vindictive, vendetta-holding gangster. It's kind of gangster, dude, if you really think about it. But I am convinced that is one of the, that's a big perk to Jon Jones wanting to fight Stipe. All right, now let's get to Jon putting a fan in the hospital. And then we will get to Jon Jones threatening to find and kill a troll who apparently went after one of his friends named Josh. I don't know. Whatever. He calls a guy out by name. Like, he's like, you shouldn't have said that about my boy. I'm going to come get you. I'm going to come get you, dog. I'm going to come get you. But like I said, first we're going to watch him kick a fan and send him to the hospital. All right. So let's watch this. And, for the people at home who have never had someone who knows how to really leverage kicking, knows how to leg kick people hard. It's a really ill-advised game where you're like, kick my leg and let's just see what happens. And that's what he did. And he goes.
Oi, show us the league.
That's crazy too, if you really think about it, because Jon can kick him harder than that. Jon can definitely kick him harder than that. Dude, if I was gonna do like a viral video, like something that I thought, it'll go viral. It's like, that's what I want to do, the leg kick challenge, dude. Like where the way that Ryan Garcia does the body shot challenge is like, I'll put up $500, and if someone can stand and eat 3 leg kicks from me without falling down, they get the $500. Give them a gym. Let me leg kick them 3 times, and if they can stand through all 3 and not go down, all they got to do is stand. They could be hurt but not go down. I'll give them the $500. Anyway, if somebody wants to volunteer for that, we can do that. I'll set it up. That sounds fun. But anywho, the guy's leg is toast. So let's look at that again. Oh, no, he did lay into that last one, dude. I take that back.
Show us the...
He laid into the second.
Oi, show us the league.
Oh. Anyway, thank you, Happy Punch, for that clip. All right, so I don't really have anything to say about that except that kid probably got exactly what he wanted. He wanted it to hurt, and it did. And I don't know. I mean, hey, I'll trade Jon Jones folding my leg for however many views. I actually don't know if he got him or not because I hadn't even seen that, and that was like a month ago. Anyway, all right, so let's talk about this last part, which in my opinion is actually crazy, okay? Which has to do with DC. It has to do with Jon Jones, talking shit to fans and DMs, but then ultimately, straight up being like, I'll come find you, which, I mean, here's the thing, dude. This is actually, let me just read this to you first, and then we'll get into it. All right, so Jon Jones bragged to the fan in the DM. He's going to ride off into the sunset, 15 million. We already saw that. Jon Jones is a professional athlete, having both fans and haters, so people are wondering if it was him behind the words. Oh, dude, he sounds exact. That I will guarantee is him. Those DMs sound exactly like him. And DC is saying, nah, dude, that's him. Okay, so here's the new stuff. Right? This is what he said. So, and this must have been to the same guy after the earlier conversation we showed. He said, I have friends, several billionaire friends in the biggest branches of the military. Meanwhile, you make 3D designs, probably still trying to pay off your house. And then he said, telling my buddy Jeff to shush probably wasn't a good idea. It's not that hard to find you. Okay, so here are my thoughts on that. Number one, it's not that hard to find you. So, right. So you're like, yeah, I'm going to find you, dog. You know exactly what that means, number one. But it's in response to him telling his friend to shush. You know what I mean? The guy's like, hey, man, why don't you shush? John's all, hey, guy, how about I send some people from the biggest branches of the military to your house, or I have one of my billionaire friends stick a gun in your mouth. Would you like that? Would you like that? Hey, you going to be able to shush people with a gun in your mouth, son? Why are you telling my friend to shush? Huh? I bet you didn't think about that before you told that man to shush. Now I'm going to get you. It's like, I don't understand. You told him to shush? We're sending people to his house? Why? What are we talking about here? I don't understand why that is that big of a deal. But anyway, I think that's stupid when people in Jon's position threaten dumbasses like that, because this guy, as you stated, is a nobody. You said he's like a 3D designer. I assume that means like, I don't know, he's like designs like games or something. I mean, he's not a nobody, but I mean like in terms of like public profile, like he's not a public person. He's just some guy with an opinion. How could you get that worked up over this guy? You know, but here's the thing about that. Here is the thing about that. And this I just fundamentally will never understand. I will never understand this. When guys talk shit to professional fighters or people in this kind of community, and then they get a big, you know, like a big profile guy to respond to them, they always will like screenshot it and put it out as if they just captured the fucking Bigfoot on camera. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, he's a professional fighter. He chose to make fighting other men in a cage his profession. This is shocking to you that when people talk shit to him, that he talks shit back? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. They're like, look at how insecure this pussy is. You're like, hey, I have an idea. Why don't you just picture any tough guy that you've ever seen, and then imagine yourself walking up and in his face saying the thing to him that you just said to Jon. Is that a thing that you would do? Better question, what do you think would happen if you did that? I don't know. Yeah, you do. You know exactly what would happen. No, I don't. Yeah, you fucking do. Look at what you wrote to him. Say those words out loud. Okay? Say the words that you just put in that message out loud. Quit being a pussy and ducking the fights everybody wants to see. You're pathetic and everybody knows it. See? That's what you said to him. Read your next message. Jon, you're an absolute joke. You beat your wife. You've gotten 100 DUIs. And everybody just wants you to disappear. So hurry up and disappear. Okay, so you just said those words. Now imagine saying that exact same thing to any tough guy that you've ever seen. What would you expect them to do? I've never really thought about it like that. Well, start thinking about it like that. Okay? What do you think they would do? You know, when you put it that way, they would probably attack me. Yeah, they would. So how does it feel as if you just caught a dog walking on its hind legs when a fighter responds to you talking shit like that and tells you to go fuck yourself? They're like, look at how insecure this guy is. He couldn't just, oh, what? You have to respond to every fan that talks shit? It's like, he's a fucking cage fighter. His profession is fighting other men in the cage. This is not the Loch Ness Monster when you get him to respond to you and he tells you to fuck off. It's so dumb. I don't understand it. That is like the dumbest thing ever. It's unsurprising to the 100th degree. So anyway, that's what I've got. You don't win anything if you just piss off a guy on the internet and they tell you, hey man, my life's 100 times better than yours and I'm beating you in every category of life, so fuck you. You know, it's kind of funny because we all know there's no reason that they should respond to a troll on the internet. But as a guy who gets people trolling him on the internet, I mean, it's not like because it's some anonymous person, when you see someone talk shit to you that like it just doesn't like, believe me, your instinct until you kind of learn to ignore it is to just be like, oh, is that right? Fuck you, guy. It's not being insecure. It's being human, you know? Like a person says, fuck you, you sorry ass bitch. You're a pussy. Do you know a lot of people who in real life will hear a person say that in their face and just kind of go, listen, man, you're just not important enough to me for me to respond. Like, that's not how humans operate. And especially people who do the shit talk and then act like, oh my God, look how insecure he is. And he talked back. It's like, well, what are you doing then? What are you doing? Anyway, that's what I got. Love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Bye.